She gives a street kid $30. Years later, someone knocks on her door. Sarah was a kind and generous woman who had a heart to help others. One day, as she was walking down the street, she noticed a young girl sitting alone on the sidewalk, begging for money. Sarah was touched and decided to help the girl. She approached the girl and gave her $30, all the money she had on her at the time, because after many years, someone knocked on Sarah's door. Sarah carefully opened the door and was surprised to see a young woman. She recognized the woman immediately and welcomed her with open arms. "Is it really you?" Sarah asked, confused. "Yes," said the woman. "I'm Emily. May I come in?" She hadn't seen Emily in over 15 years. What could she possibly want to tell her? Emily and Sarah talked for a while, but then Emily got to the point. "The $30 you gave me changed my life, and I am who I am today because you did a kind gesture for me all those years ago. That's why I wanted to show you something." It was a cold day. The sun hid behind a cloudy sky and a cold breeze blew. Sarah was on her way to work when she saw a small child sitting on the sidewalk. Sarah had to walk right past the child to get to her building, and as she got closer and closer, she noticed the condition of the child. It was a young girl, dressed far too cold for this weather. Sarah didn't hesitate and approached the girl. "Hello, my name is Sarah. What's your name?" Sarah asked friendly. "Emily," the girl replied, looking down. "Where's your mother, Emily?" asked Sarah, worried. Emily shrugged. Sarah was torn. She really wanted to help the girl, but she had to go to work. She grabbed her purse and gave the girl all her loose change. "Here, please buy yourself something to eat." The girl looked at Sarah with tears in her eyes. She carefully reached out and took the money with both hands. Sarah ran out of time to stay with the girl. "I have to go to work now. Take care," she said, and walked away. When Sarah returned to the same place after work, she found that the girl was gone. All that was left was her sign. Sarah picked up the sign and took it with her, not knowing exactly why. The years passed, and Sarah occasionally thought of the young girl. She wondered what had become of her. While cleaning out her attic, Sarah came across the sign she found on the street all those years ago. Just as Sarah was walking down the stairs with her bag of garbage and the sign inside, someone knocked on her front door. Sarah wasn't expecting any visitors and wondered who it could be. Sarah immediately opened the door. "Hello?" A woman smiled at Sarah. "Am I disturbing you?" she asked. "Oh no, not at all," Sarah said. "Actually, I just stumbled upon something that might interest you." Emily flinched as she realized what Sarah was holding in her hands. "You kept it all these years?" she asked, touched. "I went back to the same place after work," explained Sarah, "but you were already gone. That was the only thing left on the street, and I couldn't just leave it there." Emily and Sarah talked for the rest of the afternoon. They had a lovely time exchanging stories. However, just as Emily was about to leave, she said something that confused Sarah. "I need to show you something. Can you meet me at the place where we first met? Let's say tomorrow at 12? Sarah agreed to the meeting, and before she left, Emily asked one more thing. "Can I take the sign with me?" "Of course, dear," Sarah said with a smile on her face. Afterward, they went their separate ways, and Sarah went about her day as usual. When Sarah arrived at the designated spot they had agreed upon, she stopped. She took a deep breath and looked around. Sarah waited for a few more minutes, but there was still no sign of Emily. If only they had exchanged numbers. She looked around and suddenly noticed something. A new building had replaced the old office building. Sarah decided to take a peek inside while she waited for Emily. "Hello?" someone called from behind. Sarah turned and saw Emily walking towards her. They walked over to the cafe and sat by the window. "Those $30 gave me a sense of hope. I bought some food and a new coat and went to the homeless shelter. Unfortunately, my parents passed away shortly before I met you, and I had lost all hope. But you restored it for me. With just a few dollars left from your gift, I went to the homeless shelter. After surviving another night in the homeless shelter, I knew I had to spend my last few dollars, but I wasn't sure what to spend it on. So, I walked through the streets for a while until I got thirsty, and there it was. When I went to pay for my drink at the cashier, I saw a bright pink lottery ticket. I bought that lottery ticket with my last pennies and quickly tucked it away in a safe place." Sarah looked at Emily with wide eyes. "You didn't," she said, shaking her head. "Oh yes, I did," Emily replied with a big grin on her face. "In a matter of seconds, I went from a homeless orphan to a millionaire orphan." Sarah couldn't believe what she was hearing. Emily carefully led Sarah out of the restaurant. Sarah had no idea where they were going. After a few more steps, they finally came to a stop. "I can see you need a little backstory," she said, smiling. "This building belongs to me, but it's not just any building. After becoming a millionaire, I immediately started investing. I knew that a little child like me couldn't flaunt their wealth, and I had no idea how the real world worked, so I got in touch with an investor. I knew what I wanted. I wanted to provide people like me a safe place." Sarah looked at Emily. "What do you think?" Emily smiled as she greeted everyone with so much kindness. Sarah could see that she felt at home here and that everyone respected her. "I have one more surprise for you," Emily said. Emily led her into an empty room where the name of the building was displayed on the wall. "S Shelter," Sarah read aloud. "I named the building Sarah's Shelter," Emily said with sparkling eyes. She too became emotional, and they laughed and cried together. "You were the reason I am who I am today, Sarah," Emily said. "You were $30 starting all of this, and I can't thank you enough," Sarah said, unable to find the words to express her feelings. It was bigger than she had ever imagined.